we're going to do our taxes this year. This year, we're going to claim more money. But then when they realize that we had to average out the 2 years, that affects them. Now, there are ways. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of The Real Deal. This week, we're going to be talking about employment and job history and taxes. We're in tax season. We're right around the corner where your deadline is coming up. So I want to make sure you're prepared. And even if you did already do your taxes, there are ways to change that. So let's go ahead and talk about the easiest way to qualify for a home. The easiest way is going to be W-2 employment. And by easy, I mean it's going to be the one with the least amount of red tape, right? It's easy to qualify for a home if you have all the criteria, but it's just going to be less red tape. When you're a W-2 employee, when you're getting paid an hourly wage or salary, with this type of income, we don't need 2 years of job history at that one job. That's a big misconception, right? We just need a complete 2 years of work history, but it doesn't have to be in the same industry. It doesn't have to be in the same job. So if you have an opportunity that presents itself and you want to get paid more money, if you're going from hourly to hourly, salary to salary, take the opportunity. It's a great opportunity for you. When we look at your numbers, we're not going to look at your net pay. We're going to look at just your gross pay. So that's another big benefit of W-2 employment is we don't look at your deductions. We look at just your overall gross pay. Also, if you've been working, let's say part-time, and then now you're transitioning to full-time, same. We can use that full-time hourly rate right away within like the first month. Another big benefit is, let's say you've been going to school and you just graduated, you got this really great job. We can use your school history to complete that 2-year history. And you can buy a house after just being on the job for a couple months, which is another great benefit of obviously being W-2 or salary. Now, let's talk about the other types of employment. Actually, real quick on W-2 employment, whenever you're an hourly employee and you get paid commission, if that commission is a big portion of your income, that commission needs to be averaged out for 1 year. So we're still only looking at your gross income, but we had to average out a full year of the commission or bonus pay. So that way we can average out what your actual income is. So that's definitely something to consider if you are considering switching a job, which this is very common. Let's say you get a nice big, hourly or salary, but you're wanting to go on the sales route where your income drops on the hourly basis, but your commission goes up. This is going to affect you. You're going to have to wait a whole year for that income to reflect, so that way you can use all of your income. All right, so something to consider there. Now let's talk about the other type of income, which is self-employment income. If you own a business, or if you're contracted, right? If you're 1099. Now, in these cases, we do need to look at 2 years of taxes, and we need to look at the net income. So we have to look at 2 years of taxes and average that out, and we're not going to go off of gross. We have to go off of your net. So this is after deductions. This is after all your write-offs, and that's something very important. Same, doesn't have to be in the same industry, but it has to be the same type of pay. So if you've been 1099, and you're going from, being a plumber to an electrician or, something along those lines, we just have to average out that type of contract pay for the last 2 years to give you the usable income that we're going to use. And that's very important, especially right now during tax season. If you're going to go to the tax person and you're getting ready to do your taxes, and I get it, you want to pay as little as possible when it comes to taxes, but we're looking at your net and we're averaging out 2 years. So maybe, last year you had a ton of write-offs and you're like, this year I'm going to get it right. I'm not going to do that many write-offs. We're going to have to average those 2 years out. And when we average them out, obviously your income is going to go down. So that's something to think about. Some clients, I've had many clients that are in that situation where they're like, okay, we're ready to go. We're going to do our taxes this year. This year we're going to claim more money. But then when they realize that we had to average out the 2 years, that affects them. Now, there are ways around that where you don't have to average it out that way. We can always amend your previous year taxes where we can add more income, so that way it kind of balances out if we need that additional income to help you qualify. If you've been in self-employed, or if you've had your business license, or if you've been paid this particular way for at least 5 years, we also only need 1 year of taxes there. So that's a huge benefit. That's something that a lot of people don't know. They've been on the job for many years. They don't realize that they can actually only use 1 year, but we have to show some sort of track record, either by taxes, your license, some way of checking that you have indeed been doing that for 5 years. All right, so that's very important, and that's something that stumps a lot of people. A lot of times, clients, small business owners, they open up a restaurant, they open up a business, they've been working on it for years, and they're finally in a position financially to purchase a house, but after the write-offs, your income drops drastically, especially for construction workers. You got to pay, if you're a foreman or if you have a team, you got to pay your employees, you got to pay materials, and your gross can look really, really big. But at the end of the day, we're looking at just your net income. Okay. So keep in mind that that's going to be for 1099 employment, self-employed, if you own your own business. So there's a lot of different scenarios as well. There's certain situations where, your income can vary too. Sometimes, I had a very unique situation where I had a client that owned their own embroidery company, and they had purchased a heavy piece of equipment, an expensive piece of equipment. This was something that we were able to add back into his income to help increase his income. And this is something that a lot of agents, a lot of loan officers are unaware of. So there are ways to increase your income with more strategic approaches. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your deductions. You want to make sure that you're not going crazy with the deductions and the write-offs. But if you have any questions, if you're in that situation, if you did your taxes already, don't worry, we can still amend your taxes. Reach out to me. We'll set up a time to meet, and we'll go over your game plan. Take care.